Today, we're going to talk about something kind of interesting that I think you'll find very powerful, is doing a cold email. So first things first, let's talk about cold versus warm email. Warm email is to a list of people that would recognize your name in the from line. Cold is they receive the email and they really have no idea who you are. Cold people have not given you permission in any way to stay in touch and there's no relationship, whereas warm, they've given you permission. But straight up cold is, list you ripped off from somewhere that you want to send an email to. We do not do that for you at Viral. But what we're really going to focus on today is we're not focusing on warm email. We're focusing on cold email, but we're not going to do cold spamming. Cold spamming is let's email everyone and try to sell them something to the thousands or tens of thousands of emails. That's spam. Rather, we're going to step back from spam, and I'm just going to talk about how to correctly do cold, unsolicited email. I essentially want to send one-to-one emails through your Gmail or Outlook account, one-to-one, like a copy and paste, 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 done at scale to a list. Back in the day, I would get a list. It could be an email list of anything. We're going to talk a bunch of them. And I would actually just hire a virtual assistant off of Upwork, which we talked about. I would go to upwork.com and I would hire an assistant for $10 an hour to work maybe 2 hours a day. And I would say, hey, I have a list of 3,000 homeowners. Okay. Here's the email addresses of 3,000 homeowners or 3,000 people in my database or 3,000 archives in my list. I want you to copy and paste and send each one of them a personal email that basically says, are you still interested in buying or selling a house? And I'd like you to send out 100 a day. So one of the ways you think about cold outbound email is how can I set up a system to have, let's just keep the number simple, have 100 outbound emails going out a day, one-to-one emails to some list, which we'll talk about here. And when people reply back, I just work the replies. So it's a couple of things really quickly when you do cold outbound email, which I'm going to show you today, is this is completely legal to do. You can send one-to-one emails to people just fine. In fact, now, instead of hiring somebody, okay, to pay them hourly to copy and paste these emails out, there's software now that does that. And the software we're going to talk about today is called Woodpecker. Essentially what you do is, I'll show this to you, you link it up to your Gmail account or you link it up to your Outlook account. And it acts as the human being sending one-to-one emails with a macro. With cold email, you want to write it in a way where it really, truly looks like you wrote a personal email from you to them. In order to actually do this, to make it super personal, is you got to keep these messages really short, a paragraph, 4, 5, 6 sentences. And the more specific the message, the better. Now, I'm going to give you guys a very, very important tip. Never, ever, ever initiate an outbound email campaign on your main domain, because you risk Google or your email provider saying, hey, this is kind of some questionable email activity with all these cold emails going out, and they might shut down your account and investigate. Or you kind of mess up with your list or your messaging where a disproportionate number of people click the report spam button because there's no opt-out language at the bottom. There's no unsubscribe because it's personal email. And your domain gets blacklisted. And whenever email is sent from that domain, it goes into people's spam folders. Also, when you do outbound email, especially if it's a fresh account, meaning you just create a whole new email account and a whole new domain, I wouldn't do more than 50 outbound emails a day. Now, as the email account gets more seasoned over time, you can grow it to be 75, 100, 125. So I'm going to show that to you really quick. So when I go into Woodpecker, so let's say I connect my email account. All right. So in this case, I've connected this separate domain email account, which I have here. That's already been done. I'm going to go to my homepage, and there should be an option to create a campaign. Let's do an actual outbound email campaign. Here we go. Add campaign. So let's call this database archive reactivation. And we'll talk about this in a little bit. And you would choose the email account that's going to come from. In this case, I'll use this one right now because someone's in my account using it, but this would be your email at a separate domain that's not your main one. All right. And this is where you write the email. So it could be just something as simple as this. And I want these emails to probably go out sometime between, say, 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. That's fine with me. And we'll do it 7 days a week. And I only want 50 emails a day. So the system will kind of figure out, I'll kind of space the emails evenly throughout these times. And that's it. And then down here, you scroll down, you upload your email list, done. And then you click send, done. And Woodpecker will go into your email and fire out these emails one by one by one by one by one by one. And you just work the replies.